Welcome to InfinityCast, where we explore the vast landscapes of history. Today, we're sailing to some of the most remote and forbidding places on Earth, the islands of the damned. When we say penal colony, most people immediately think of Australia, but that's only one chapter in a much larger, darker global story. Here to help me navigate these treacherous historical waters is the brilliant Marin Sage. Marin, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Elias. It's a grim topic, but a crucial one. These places weren't just prisons, they were social and political laboratories. The idea was to take what society deemed its undesirables, criminals, political dissidents, the destitute, and not only punish them, but physically remove them, cleansing the homeland while simultaneously populating a remote corner of an empire.
Let's start with perhaps the most infamous name after Australia, Devil's Island in French Guiana. The name itself is pure dread. From the mid-19th to the mid-20th century, France sent tens of thousands of convicts there. The sentence was often a death sentence in disguise. Prisoners faced tropical diseases, relentless heat, malnutrition, and shark-infested waters if they dared attempt escape.
And the cruelty was systemic. The French implemented a policy called doublage. This meant that if you were sentenced to less than 8 years of hard labor, you were forced to live in the colony as a libéré, or free person, for an equal number of years after your release. If your sentence was longer than 8 years, you were banished there for life.
So, release from prison didn't mean freedom. It just meant a new kind of prison without walls. You were trapped, with no resources to get home and no real way to build a life. It was a mechanism for permanent exile.
Exactly. It ensured the criminal element would never return to metropolitan France. It was social engineering at its most brutal. But France was hardly alone. If we travel to the other side of the world, to the Russian Far East, we find an equally terrifying counterpart, Sakhalin Island.
The Katorga Island. While Devil's Island killed with heat and disease, Sakhalin killed with ice and brutal labor. Tsarist Russia sent its worst offenders and political prisoners there to toil in coal mines and logging camps in subarctic conditions. The writer Anton Chekhov visited in 1890 and was so horrified he wrote a book about it, calling it a place of extreme suffering, the likes of which man is capable.
And just like with the French, there was a dual purpose. Yes, it was a place of punishment, a prison without locks, because the environment itself was the cage. But it was also a strategic imperial outpost. Russia wanted to solidify its claim on this massive island, so close to Japan. The convicts and their families were forced, unwilling colonists, meant to populate and Russify the territory.
So we see a clear pattern emerging. Whether it's Britain's Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean, used to house rebels from the 1857 Indian Uprising, or Spain's colonies in Africa. These were not just about justice. They were multi-purpose tools. They exiled the unwanted, provided forced labor for imperial projects, and staked territorial claims.
They represent a nexus of justice, punishment, and empire. The legal framework that created them tells us so much about the fears and ambitions of these nations. The lives of the condemned were simply raw material to be used in the service of the state. Today, many of these islands are ruins, overgrown with jungle or frozen in time, but their legacy is a stark reminder of how far states will go in the name of order and control.
A chilling thought to end on. Marin, thank you for shedding light on these forgotten corners of legal history.
My pleasure, Elias.
That's all the time we have for today on InfinityCast. Join us next time as we explore another piece of our infinite past.